whether or not the Justice Department under a President Trump and under a potential Attorney General Pam Bondi may choose to continue and maybe even widen other areas of investigation that the special counsel, David Weiss, in the state of Delaware had already been looking into, including foreign lobbying. We know that Republicans in the House that are already holding the gavels now, and the Senate Republicans, the Republicans who will soon take over the committees when they assume the majority next year, can continue to beat this drum. They can continue to hold hearing after hearing. They could subpoena Hunter Biden to come in. They could try to explore whether there might be other potentially wrongdoing. And so on one hand, this pardon does take that threat of jail time away, but there's certainly the political consequences to come.
Mike, I'm so sorry to cut you off. We have Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas joining us on the phone from a plane, I believe. There you are on a plane. Representative Crockett, what is the Democratic caucus saying about this news regarding Hunter Biden's pardon?
Well, I won't pretend to speak for the entire caucus, but I will say, way to go, Joe. Let me be the first one to congratulate the president for deciding to do this, because at the end of the day, we know that we have a 34-count convicted felon that is about to walk into the White House. So for anyone that wants to clutch their pearls now because he decided that he was going to pardon his son, I would say take a look in the mirror. Because we also know that when it comes to this cabinet has more people accused of sexual assault than any incoming cabinet probably ever in the history of America. So we are living in unprecedented times, and we know that this was completely political. As someone who serves on the Oversight Committee, this was gamesmanship the entire time. And we know that this investigation had been taking place for 5 or 6 years. We know that Hunter had accepted responsibility, and it was the Oversight Committee that was pushing to try to say, no, it wasn't enough. And ultimately, the judge decided to reject the plea. And so considering everything that took place and considering where we are in this country, I say, way to go, Joe.
Well, can I ask a question? And it looks like your seatmates behind you think that this is very unprecedented to have someone be on television while they're boarding the plane. But we have talked a lot with you on MSNBC programs about the way that African Americans and Latinos are often brought up in the drug trade and results in criminal convictions. Do you think going forward that this is an opportunity for the president to use his clemency power more broadly? Certainly given the kind of criticism he's likely to face over this, but to expand the array of individuals who are also offered clemency as his term winds down?
So thank you so much for the question, because I actually have a letter that I am actually about to really push out a lot more widely. This letter is to actually work on the disparities that we've seen specifically for crack cocaine. It is a conversation that I started with the Attorney General before the election. It was something that I wanted to do in the lame duck, no matter who won the presidency. And so we know that there are people that are still sitting in custody in the federal government, federal prisons, because they were charged with crack cases years and years before the law ever changed. And even when the law changed under Obama, it still was an 18-to-1 disparity. It is time for those people that have been sitting there and have had this disparity held over their heads, and it's been nothing but racism that has driven it. It's time for them to go ahead and have their sentences recalculated. And we have the numbers. We know the percentages of people of color. We know the percentages of people that would get out. And so I'm hoping that the president takes us up on it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Representative Crockett, and making time in economy class, no less. Thank you.